What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So I've been just a little bit lax on watching TV shows currently. I got really caught up watching Flash and Arrow yesterday on my Amazon account and completely neglected 3 shows over the matter of 2 days. So this is the beginning of that. First one we're going to start with is Gotham. This is Season 2, Episode 18, Pinewood. And another good episode, another interesting one that is kind of furthering this story and really does give us some good information. I kind of figured Hugo Strange was going to be the one. Whenever we heard the philosopher, all I could think is, it's probably going to be Hugo Strange. He seems like they were setting him up as the villain in this. Well, not the villain, but the one that killed Bruce's parents. It felt like that's what they were building up to. He's already doing a lot of stuff at Arkham that is just obviously evil. And it kind of made sense for him to be the one that worked for the Waynes and then betrayed them, because that seems who he is. The interesting part about this episode, though, is how they get to that information. You know, the stuff that happens along the way. You've got Mr. Freeze has his first rendition of the Freeze suit, I guess. I don't know if they're going to upgrade it at all, but Mr. Freeze is now in the Freeze suit. Bruce and Alfred end up meeting this girl who apparently was a part of these original experiments, and her hand got turned into it looked like a talon from an eagle. And so Thomas Wayne helped her and kept her safe throughout all of this. You've got Jim kind of working with Barbara to get to the lady, the one that tried to hire the hitmen last season, or during the first half of the season. What's the first half? I think it was. Can't remember now. Yeah, it was during the first half of the season. She hired the hitmen to go kill Jim. Well, Jim's now got to find her, track her down, and get the information out of her, because it turns out she's the one that was hired to hire Matches Malone to kill the Waynes. So he needs to get information from her, gets Barbara's help in doing it. I'm going to talk about her a lot, because a lot of interesting questions. But like I said, it's very interesting how it all went down. You know, like just the story along the way, the journey to get to where we are at the end of the episode is really fun. Is really enjoyable. And I think that's important in a show. You can't just have this shocking information at the end of the episode, but have a bunch of boring moments leading up to that. Because if that's all you do, if you just have this boring story that ends with a shocking revelation, it's kind of like, that wasn't... You know, it becomes less interesting if on the way there you were bored out of your skull. You know, like... I'm glad that they found a way to make it enjoyable and entertaining, because this show needs that. Sometimes in the first season it got bogged down in a lot of just these slower moments. Jim kind of dealing with stuff that he's already had to deal with over and over and over again. You've got characters that are monologuing sometimes. They've kind of stopped that. They still have character moments. We still have character development. But they've kind of upped the story progression. And that's good to see. Going to Barbara really fast, though. I don't know what to think of her character right now. Because whenever she came back, I was like, okay. You know, she became an interesting character after Season 1. At the end of it, whenever she killed her parents and stuff, I'm just like, well, at least she did something. But even during that, she was like a mindless drone. And for the entire first season, even before the mindless drone part, she still felt a bit mindless. You know, just, oh, I'm just a doting girlfriend, and I'm not gonna be there for him. I'm gonna do no, I'm gonna be a girlfriend to this other girl. No, it's like she didn't know what she wanted. She was just bouncing around. So when they finally gave her like this crazy personality at the beginning of the season, I loved it. It was a good choice. She finally had a personality. It was nice to see. Then after all of that went down, you know, the craziness seems like it's gone. but she still feels like she has a bit of personality. Like she wants something for herself. It's like she knows what she did and she remembers all of it, but she feels like she's moving past that, and it feels like she's grown as a character again and can possibly still grow. Now, the fact that she went back to Tabitha after this, maybe that means she's still got an evil side to her. Maybe she's just looking for somewhere safe and comforting, and Tabitha is safe and comforting. I don't know. It's something that you can really question and say, what does this all mean? What does that mean in particular? But I love the fact that she's the one to help Jim in this episode, because now Jim really has to deal with the fact that, one, he didn't contact Lee, so she's still not a part of his life right now. And he really does have to ask, how far is he willing to go to catch the Wayne's killer? The fact that he was working with Barbara in this episode is kind of going to make him feel maybe a little bit guilty. The fact that he's working with crazy Barbara, he's going to have to start asking himself some serious questions, like, is this what I want to do? Where's the line that I need to draw? So yeah, I like that inclusion, and hopefully she stays an important character and doesn't just become this irrelevant kind of side story between like her and Tabitha and stuff. But can't really decide where the show is going next. The other interesting story in this is the girl with the talon hand. That was it was a bit crazy. First to see this girl that has this deformed hand, now it's like a bird talon. But to see how Bruce sort of took it upon himself, took the responsibility for her. It's kind of showing a bit of maturity in Bruce, like he's growing into a man. And this is, it was a bit emotional. She ends up sacrificing herself. She, he's coming after me. I'm going to save you guys. So she sacrifices herself, freezes her, and then smashes her into little bits. I'm just like, holy crap, like that sucks. And Bruce is like really emotional in that scene. You can just see that he wanted to try to help her. His dad tried to help her. It's like he's taking that responsibility on himself of this project may not have been my dad's fault, but it still was his responsibility. Now it's mine. And so to fail in that responsibility, to fail this girl that is now dead, it's like it really does weigh on him. And I like the fact that they're doing that. I like the fact that they really are giving Bruce more than just, he's slowly becoming Batman. No, he is becoming his own person. The Batman part will come later. But for now, he's realizing the stuff that happened with his parents. He's starting to realize that he's got to do something to help, because right now, they're still feeling the repercussions of what his parents did, even if they did have good intentions, still didn't turn out well. So it's really nice to see. And the kid playing Bruce Wayne is really, I knew he was a good actor. I'd seen him in Criminal Minds one episode. He played like this blind kid. Very emotional. And really, really got to me, and his performance had something to do with it. But, as Bruce Wayne, you could see at the beginning he was a bit weak, but now that he's grown from that weak little boy into a bit more of a mature young man, I like the growth. You can see the growth in his personality. He's done a very good job of that, so kudos to that kid. And then the final thing to talk about is going to be the basis for the next episode, Azrael. I've talked about in my Flash and Arrow reviews, the only DC stuff I really know is from Batman the Animated Series, Batman the Arkham games, some of the Batman movies, and then Teen Titans. Like, that's the only real exposure I've had to DC, so any characters that I know of come from that. Azrael showed up in the Arkham games. He showed up in Arkham City for a little bit, and you didn't really know who he was. And then he shows up in Arkham Knight, tries to become like Batman's successor, but it turns out that he's actually trying to kill him. And this was actually after I watched the first half of Gotham. I heard about... I didn't know who Theo Galavant was. I was like, is he important to the comics at all? And then heard the Order of Saint Dumas. And I'm just like, okay, so maybe that's important to the comics. Looked it up. Yeah, They are a part of the comics. And then I played Arkham Knight, and then found out that Azrael comes from the Order of Saint Dumas. I'm like, oh, okay, huh, that's interesting. And so as they're working on Theo Galavan's body, and I'm looking at the future titles last week, I saw Azrael. I'm like, he's gonna become Azrael, isn't he? And sure enough, Theo Galavan wakes up in this episode, kills a bunch of people, and then before he snaps his one guard's neck, Azrael! I'm like, oh, okay, yep, that was right. I saw it coming. So yeah, it's a bit different than the Azrael I know from the Arkham games, but could be interesting. He still, I'm not sure if he's still going to have the mindset of Theo Galavan and the Order of Saint Dumas, all of that stuff, the plot to kill Bruce Wayne. Is he still going to have that mindset? Is he still going to want to carry out that mission? Maybe, possibly, I don't know. Is Hugo Strange going to have any control over him next week? Doesn't seem like it. Like, he seems like he's a bit crazy and won't take orders from anybody, but you never know. But I do like that. I do like the fact that they are bringing him back in less of a, oh, I am an upstanding guy, I'm pretending to be somebody I'm not. He's just coming back as this crazy psycho killer with a lot of skill. That's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to experience. So I'm excited to see what's happening next week. What about you? That's what I'm trying to say. Are you excited for next week? What did you think of this week's episodes? Everything going on with Barbara, Bruce and Alfred, all of that stuff. Let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe for more Gotham, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.